Great job.
Thanks.
Mr. Ambassador, please.
Well, Mr. President, thank you very much indeed in hosting us this morning. And thank you very much indeed also for that very typical 11th hour intervention by you with your phone call to the President, demanding even more out of this deal than any of us expected. So thank you for that.
Thank you very much. It was beautifully stated. What a beautiful accent, too. I'd like to have that accent. Thank you.
My mother would be proud.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
James Matthews. And now we take this into new and important territory by adding trade and the economy to the closeness of our relationship.
So I'm going to begin by just adding that we just concluded the rare earth deal with Ukraine. That's been fully ratified and approved by their legislative branches, and so we appreciate that, and I'll be speaking with the President in a little while, a little bit later.
The US and the United Kingdom, I mean, we basically share everything together. You know, we share people, we share cultures, we share a lot of intelligence, we share technologies, and when need be, we also share some of the fighting of our adversaries as well. And of course, one thing we don't need to fight over is trade, because we have this fantastically fair and balanced trade relationship in which we reciprocate so much. That's just a little thing for you to remember in the coming weeks.
And come to me. And then Kira, it's on me.
People are baffled why you appointed Peter Mandelson in the first place to this job, when in essence all the facts that we now know we knew when you did the appointment. It's just that there's been some sort of lurid headline-grabbing language that we've seen since.
Let me talk this through with you, because it's important to appreciate what happened when, and I understand that. Obviously the post, the diplomatic post of American ambassador, a really important post, and Peter Mandelson, before he was appointed, went through a due diligence process. That's the propriety and ethics team, went through a process, and therefore I knew of his association with Epstein, but had I known then what I know now, I'd have never appointed him. Because what emerged last week were emails, Bloomberg emails, which showed that the nature and extent of the relationship that Peter Mandelson had with Epstein was far different to what I had understood to be the position when I appointed him. On top of that, what the email showed was he was not only questioning, but wanting to challenge the conviction of Epstein at the time. That, for me, went and cut across the whole approach that I've taken on violence against women and girls for many years, and this government's approach. On top of that, what emerged last week, on Wednesday evening late, were Peter Mandelson's responses to questions that have been put to him by government officials. I looked at those responses and I did not find them at all satisfying. And therefore, on the basis of those three things, the nature and extent of the relationship being far different to what I'd understood to be the position at point of appointment, the questioning and challenging of the conviction, which, as I say, goes to the heart and cuts across what this government is doing on violence against women and girls, and the unsatisfactory nature of the responses from Peter Mandelson last week to the inquiries made of him by government officials, I took the decision to remove him.
You said that details emerged Wednesday afternoon, but from what we can work out, details were furnished to bits of the Whitehall machinery, the Foreign Office and Downing Street, quite a bit ahead of you defending Peter Mandelson on Wednesday at Prime Minister's questions. And people are scratching their heads saying, why didn't you, the Prime Minister, make more effort to make sure you were briefed on this? Were people briefing you properly? Were they acting on your behalf? Were they acting slightly on Peter Mandelson's behalf, maybe? Bits of the machine.
Well, let me deal with that, because it was only on Wednesday early evening that I knew the contents of the Bloomberg emails. It was only very late on Wednesday when Peter Mandelson replied to the questions that had been put to him by government officials. And it was on that basis that I took my decision that he should be removed. What I knew before PMQs was that there had been media inquiries. I didn't know the content of the Bloomberg emails. And I knew that questions had been put to Peter that he had not yet answered. And he hadn't answered them by the time it got to PMQs. There is, of course, a time lag in America, but I knew that there are questions that have been put to him, but I didn't know what answers he was going to give to those questions. That came later on Wednesday. And that's why, at that point, I gave the answer I did at PMQs, and that's the extent of what I knew at the time.
But the primary responsibility for bringing about the future investment, the use of new technologies and models.
Well, quite
Right over there.
To do with our banks.
Yeah, so that makes sense, yeah.
Good speech.
Yeah.
And I sort of took off and shouted.
Okay. Member of my cabinet.
I said I was there to talk about jobs, not one or two jobs.
Yes, with proper solidarity too. And I'm the first to say that. The UK.
The point is, did we discuss this collectively, rationally, at a European level? Wouldn't it have been better, actually, to create a new European manufacturing platform? If we could have brought about a rationalisation which would have resulted in a pan-European